So this is a story of a time when I did for the mathematics in school. Now you would understand why I'm stating it clearly that I did for the mathematics, because I was an art student. I was not a science student, and from my senior secondary school years, like from SS1, the school I attended, you don't need to do all the subjects. For example, I've seen some schools where you're entering senior secondary school 1 and then you have to do chemistry, physics, biology, economics, every subject, and then maybe by second or third term you can now choose what you want or something like that. But my school and the schools I went to, you were just told to choose immediately what you wanted to do. And so I chose art because from a very young and tender age, this thing about this kind of thing where a kind of profession sticks to you. For example, someone can say, I want to be a nurse, because when I was a little girl I was asked, what do you want to be? And I said I want to be a nurse. And while growing up, my parents called me nurse, auntie nurse, sister nurse, and and other stuff. And so mine was to be a newscaster, or to be a journalist, or a media personality or something in that light. And so I just stuck with art. But in SS1 I started for the math, and the reason I started for the math was just because I liked it. I just liked the challenge, and I can remember I just liked challenging science students in my school then who were doing it. And this kind of thing, let me not lie, the thing was, my teachers used me to boast. They'd be like, hey, see Ruth, she's in art class and she's beating you that you're in science class. I did for the math. And I'll be like, yes. Don't blame me. But then that was the thing, and I did it. And so from SS1 to 2 to 3, I'll just go for the math classes. And I love mathematics, and so I did for the math and mathematics. And one of my best textbooks from junior secondary school was my JSS3 general mathematics text. I love that textbook. Like, I know almost every chapter. Like, I could solve exercises and things from almost every chapter. Right, and then the reason for the story is I've heard people say mathematics is hard, and whilst I'm not denying your experience, because we've all had different experiences, you might have gone to a school where mathematics teacher was really. There was a time when I was in GSS1. I went to a Baptist school in my junior secondary school, amongst all the schools I went to. There was this particular teacher that just come to class and say, oh yeah, bring out your hands, and just she'll give us morning tea. She'll give us morning tea, just flog us like that, like it will help you to warm your body up. And I'm like, So I've seen people who've hated mathematics because the teachers were really something else, right? And I've seen people who hate mathematics because they just heard a certain ideology that mathematics is hard. Like, so from primary 1 to primary 2, from nursery school to secondary school, there's this ideology in your head. You're like, mathematics is hard. You've not you just saw maybe 1 or 2 exercises that you failed, and you're like, nah, this thing is hard. I remember in my room then I would solve, like it's more like a sharpening. I believe personally that there is nobody that cannot do mathematics. It just takes the discipline. So the question is, are you disciplined? If you are not disciplined to do mathematics, or you can't get it, really, you can't get it. It takes a lot of practice. I also would admit that there are people who have a kind of intellectual ability and capacity. Just imagine, maybe your dad is a professor, your mom is a professor, and maybe your dad first class, your mom first class, and stuff like that. And it happens, and so the children are really intelligent, and they're first in class and all that. But if you're not in this category, you don't have to be in this category anyway. You can be good in math if you put in the work, if you put in the labor. Because I remember vividly that I would hear, like, it's more like I'll see a math problem and I'm like, if I don't get this mathematics problem, I'm not going to eat. You take it. So I'm like, nah, this mathematics must I must get nothing. I must get it. And so I would solve and try and solve, and then at the end I'll get it. So mathematics is like it has a predictable outcome. Like, there are steps to follow to solve mathematics, and there are formulas, and you know, I also know some people who say English is harder than math. Well, what are my thoughts on that? I can't really say for now, because I love both English and I love both math. At the point in my life, I really love mathematics. Now I'm teaching English, so I love both. But then if you're out there and you think mathematics is hard, the thing is, was it your idea that math was hard, or someone put it into you? Did you think that math was hard, or or maybe your experience is that math is hard? But the thing is, I believe that everyone can pass mathematics. It just takes the necessary discipline, hard work, never giving up, and just telling yourself, I have to do it and I have to get it, and you'll see the desired results. There's one thing my teacher used to say: if you leave mathematics, mathematics leaves you. If you don't solve mathematics for one day, you've not solved it for 3 days. These were the things that kept me going. So every day I'll make sure I solve mathematics. Every day I'll make sure. I was very particular about, just making sure I solve mathematics. So